Hello everyone, welcome to my channel ZA Plantopia. My name is Zarin Alexander and I love plants, hence the name ZA Plantopia. So if you're watching this channel, it means you love plants as much as I do, and I'm so happy about that because now we can share our TLC for plants. So in this video I'm going to talk about this plant. Look at him, isn't he so huge and so beautiful? So this is commonly known as a money tree, and some people even call it Malabar chestnut, but the scientific name is Pachira aquatica. Now before I go into the details on how to take care of it, let's talk about some fun facts about it. Now this plant is very auspicious for the Asian culture because it's included in the Feng Shui. Now according to Feng Shui, if you have this plant at home, it's going to bring good luck and financial prosperity. So have you guys ever wondered why that most of the plants you see in the shops have braided stems? Well, mine is not braided, it's outgrown the braid, but if you see this plant in any of the shops, you see the stems are braided. Now I'm going to tell you the reason why it's braided. So the main reason why it's braided is because according to Feng Shui, they believe that the braids, they help to capture the fortune, the good luck and fortune within the folds of the braid. So that's the main reason why we have braided stems in most of these plants. Now let's go into the care of these plants. Now this plant, let's start with lighting. Now this plant really likes bright light. So when I say bright light, you have to make sure it's not direct but indirect bright light. If you put it in a window where the sunlight is too harsh and it keeps as harsh light hitting the leaves, you can have browning of the leaves and leaves might fall off. So it's best to keep it in a window where it's not too sunny but it's bright, like the sun doesn't hit the leaves. I would suggest maybe a west facing window would be good. I keep mine in a west facing window and he's doing really good in that spot. And suppose you don't have a window that's west facing, the best option would be like to keep the plant 5 to 6 feet away from the window. 5 to 6 feet away from the window, so the sunlight doesn't hit the sun rays don't hit the leaves and burn it. If that's also not an option, the other option we could do is maybe use a thin curtain or a thin drape. That's something to filter the light off so the rays don't hit the leaves and make it burn. So another point I would like to talk about is the place you keep the plant. Now suppose you find one spot that the plant is doing really well and it's very happy. Don't move it from there, because if you move it away, he will do good, but initially he might go into a little bit of a stress in adapting to the new place, and you might see some leaves yellowing and falling off. That happened with my plant. When we moved our house, we moved into a new house, and when I moved into this spot, the spot right now which he's thriving in, initially many of its leaves were falling off and it was yellowing and falling off, and I couldn't figure out why. But after some time I realized it's because it was getting used to that spot, and now there are no leaves yellowing. And if you see this, it's not because of the sun and it's not because of stress, it's because of my kid, my little one. I don't know what she was doing with this plant. She was staring at it and having fun with it. So now that's about lighting. And if you want to know if it will do good under a fluorescent light, it will. You can keep it under a fluorescent light, it will survive, but the only issue would be that the growth of this plant will be really slow. So now I kept it next, like I told you, next to a west facing window, and it's getting nice bright natural sunlight, indirect sunlight, and within 6 months it grew from, I can tell you, it was only this height. So within 5 months, within 5 months, like it was this height initially. Within 5 months it grew so big with natural indirect bright sunlight. And just check out the size of this leaf. It's so huge. It's like bigger than my hand. If you can see, it's bigger than my palm. So that's the beauty of natural sunlight. You won't get, I don't think you can get this size and this color and this growth with fluorescent light, but it will survive under fluorescent light. And so now that's about lighting. So let's go into watering. Now you guys must be wondering, like, how much do I water, when do I water? So let's talk on when do I water. So now this plant, make sure before getting into watering, let me talk about the pot. Make sure you always plant this or any pot plants you have in a pot with drainage holes, because it's very important. No plants, no matter what kind of plants it is, none of them like their roots staying in a puddle of water with mud around it. It'll rot, the roots will rot. So always opt for a pot with drainage hole. And this plant or any plant, when do I water? So I'll answer that question now. For many people it's difficult to find out which is the right time to water, so I would say it's like go next to the plant. Now I have put pebbles on top. I don't know if you can see it, but I have put some pebbles on top. And many of, if you don't, you don't need to do that. I just put it just for it to look good. So what you do is you go next to the pot, stick your finger inside and go deep, at least 2 inches deep, and find out if, and when you stick your finger in, you should feel, is it like wet or is it dry? You will understand it. Like, maybe I'm not able to explain it correctly, but when you stick your finger in, if it's wet, and when you pull it out and if it's like some soil is stuck to your hand, that means it's really wet and it doesn't need water, so hold back from watering. But when you stick your finger in and you feel the soil is a bit hard to stick your finger in, it's giving some resistance and it's quite dry, and when you lift your finger out and there's no soil, that means it needs watering. You can go ahead and water. So that's a very simple technique to find out if your plant needs watering or not. Now, how much do I water? Well, it depends on each plant, the size of the plant, how big your plant is, how fast it's growing, and the size of the pot too. But a simple technique is keep pouring water till you find water coming out from the drainage hole. That's the simplest technique. So you keep pouring, and once you see water coming out from the drainage holes, stop watering. That's it. It's good for that. It's good for that time now. And so that's about watering. And don't let this plant go bone dry. This plant likes a little moisture because, like, I haven't told you, but this plant actually is native to Central America and South America. So, and it usually grows in marshy land, so it doesn't like dry soil. It likes a little bit of moisture in the soil. So that doesn't mean you soak it in water, just retain a little bit of moisture. So don't let it go bone dry. The leaves will fall, will turn yellow and fall. So that's about watering. Now let's talk about soil. So this plant is actually very simple to take care of. All you need to do is keep watering it and put it in the right spot, and it's easy to grow. So you don't, and because it's an easy plant to grow, you don't need any special medium for it. You don't need any special mix of soil for it. You don't have to make your own cocktail of soil for it. Just a regular potting mix is good. I'm using a regular potting mix that I bought from a store. You can find it in any store, Walmart, Canadian Tire, anywhere. So about the soil, like I told you, any regular potting mix would work. You don't need any special cocktail of soil for this. And now that's about the soil. Now let's go to the temperature. Now, like I said, this is from Central and South America, so it likes a warmer climate. So definitely if you're in a place where it snows and it gets really cold, I would suggest to keep it indoors. And in indoors, make sure it's warm. At least the temperature should be between 65 to 75 degree Fahrenheit, and it should do good. And about moisture, like I said, it does like a little bit of moisture. Many people do misting for humidity. It likes humidity. That's what I read about, that this plant really likes humidity. But you know what, look at my plant. It's doing well. It's grown so much. The leaves are huge, and the beauty is I never took any extra measures to provide humidity for it. So it's not a must. Some plants really need it, but this plant you can avoid the whole step. You don't need to provide humidity. And about humidity, how to provide humidity for plants that require it, I'm going to make another video for it, and you can watch out and look out for that video. But for this, if you want, you can provide humidity, but mostly it's not required. I haven't done it, but if you do want to provide, use a humidifier or a mister, or I will get to you with that in another video, a nice detailed video about that. So that's about humidity. So, and like I said, this is an easy to grow plant. Any new plant parent or wannabe plant parent can try this. Here comes my daughter. So this is my daughter, Alexis, and this is what she did. She's the one responsible for this. So now let's talk about, so anyone who's a first time plant owner or a first time plant parent, I would suggest to get this plant because this will really do well in anyone's hands. And what else do I do? If you really, and about problems that you can face with this plant, like I told you, it's a very hardy plant. I haven't faced any problem except for the time that it had to adjust to its new spot. But I did hear that some people face problems like mealybugs and aphids and all that, but I haven't faced it, thankfully. And and I can look out for another video regarding treating all these problems, like with all insects related problems. I'm going to put out another video regarding that, so look out for that. And yeah, I guess that's about it about this plant, the care you need for this plant. And if you enjoyed my video and if you found my video informative and helpful, please don't forget to click the like button and don't forget to subscribe too. And yeah, for all my plant parents out there, and don't forget to thank God for these beautiful plants, and always stay positive. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and please subscribe, and so we can talk more about plants. And if you guys have a plant, if you guys have this plant, I would love to see it. You can post a picture about this plant. And this is another crazy thing. I'm a crazy plant parent, so I have named all my plants, and this plant is called the lucky tree. So if you have named your plants, and I would love to hear the names, and I would love to see your plants, and any questions you have regarding the care of this plant, please shout out. I am ready to answer it. And yep, that's all about this plant, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much. Love to all. Bye bye.